Hello everyone, my name is Laura from Emerge Pediatric Therapy, and I wanted to talk to you today about the use of American Sign Language and gestures with your children. So American Sign Language is abbreviated to ASL, and it is a rich, complex language that has its very own syntax and grammar that many people who are deaf or hard of hearing use to communicate. As speech therapists, we often use single words and gestures derived from ASL, even if we don't speak ASL fluently. We use these to help our children who need additional ways to communicate with other people. Here at Emerge, our whole team recently had a lecture led by Dr. Lisalee Egbert, and she is a deaf woman, mother of a deaf child, and a professor, researcher, and presenter with a master's in deaf education and a Ph.D. in reading. And she taught us a lot about how to be mindful and inclusive with our practice when we're working with using signs and gestures derived from ASL. And so I wanted to share a little bit with you all today about what she taught us, and then also some of my own recommendations as I've done research and just had experience working with gestures and sign communication as a speech language pathologist. Using words and gestures derived from ASL with hearing children and toddlers is a new trend that many parents are looking into. And a lot of people in the deaf community are really excited about this. They really want to normalize the use of signed communication, and they are excited that people are recognizing the benefits of using signed communication with their children. There are a couple of really important things to keep in mind when considering using gestures and sign communication with your child. One is that when you're using single words and gestures derived from ASL, this is not the same as teaching your child American Sign Language. American Sign Language is very rich and complex, like I had said, and using these gestures for single words is completely different. Something else that's really important to keep in mind when we're doing our research is to be wary of companies that offer lessons and resources in baby sign. Baby sign often has no connection to the ASL community and those who are deaf, and they don't provide any sort of resources or enrichment for helping people in the deaf community or those who speak ASL. It's so important that if we choose to use gestures and signed communication with our children, that we also choose to support the deaf community. And Dr. Egbert shared lots of different resources with us on how we could continue our education on use of ASL and also continue our support for the deaf community. And these are linked in the blog post, but I'll also tell you them here. These resources include ASL University, ASL at Home, and Sign on Connect. While research has not indicated a significant boost in overall language skills for hearing children who are typically developing and choose to use signed communication early in life, there is a lot of research supporting the use of this communication method with children who maybe have autism spectrum disorder, childhood apraxia of speech, or other developmental delays. I have several recommendations for how to get started on using signed communication and gestures with your child if you were interested in doing so. One is to start modeling these single words to your child once they start demonstrating sustained and joint attention, usually around 8 months of age. It's also recommended that you choose a couple single words to start. It can be helpful to teach these signs for highly rewarding or motivating activities or people or actions. Also, repeat the signs consistently across a variety of situations to help your child learn it. If you do know ASL, then by all means model that word within a full, complete sentence because it's always better to provide a richer language model for our kids. Also, make sure that you pair your signs with big affect and immediate reinforcement, and know that it's okay if your child doesn't make the exact sign that you make. Many people in the deaf community who speak ASL will have to alter the way they're signing to accommodate for physical limitations, and often children alter the way that they're signing because as they're learning the language and refining those motor skills, there are some alterations that are made, and that is okay as long as you guys understand each other. For additional resources on the use of ASL, signed communication, and gestures with your child, please visit our blog post at emergepediatrictherapy.com.